is making his way here. He's about 10 minutes out, so he will join us when he get here, but he is online or on the phone to be able to participate and ask and answer questions. Our first item on the agenda is approval of the reports from the October 4th and October 19th Plan Commission meeting. What are your wishes?
I'll make a motion to approve both reports.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the reports. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
That motion, and anybody opposed? That motion carries. Item 2 is County of Wood, request for discontinue vacate a portion of Avon Street, north of Market Street, and south of 5th Street. Kyle, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, not necessarily. The staff report is pretty self-explanatory. I do want to note that this is, again, part of the jail project for the county, and this item did go before the Public Works Committee in October, which recommended approval to the Common Council. The next step, if Plan Commission makes the recommendation, is there will be a public hearing held at the regular council meeting in November, and then that will be the final action for the street vacation.
Thank you. Commission, do you have any questions? Ryan or Ben, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Take it the audience doesn't have any, except for support. So with that, what is the commission's wishes?
Mr. Chair, I'd move for approval.
We have a motion by Feith
I'll second.
and Dobbin
I'll second.
seconds it. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 That motion carries. On to item number 3. Everybody wants to sneak out. Thanks for coming. All right. On to item number 3 is Plan 21-1028, Love Inc. of Southwood County. Request for a site plan review to perform site improvements at 710 20th Avenue South, parcel ID 3403987. Kyle?
Thank you, Mayor. So this is somewhat of a unique request with regards to the parking configuration. So again, Love Inc. is looking to reconstruct their entire parking lot. Right now, they essentially have 2 sections of their parking lot, and one of them is in the right-of-way on the north side of the lot, which is technically illegal. Typically, the Streets Department and Engineering Office would not permit a large driveway that exists currently for their property. So as part of this approval, they're looking to create a main lot on the southwest side and then have a smaller lot with handicap parking on the north side of the building and have a one-way route that would connect you to those handicap stalls. I think from a safety standpoint,
We have lost you, Kyle.
it makes sense from a performance standpoint. It becomes more control outstanding items with regards to the site. Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now?
We can kind of hear you, yes. Try again.
Just getting into Rapids, so hopefully the service will pick up here. Ultimately, there are a few outstanding items with regards to more specifics on the site plan, dimensional standards, and then a landscaping plan as well. And so we would recommend approval with those to be submitted for review by our office. Thank you.
Thank you. we have Danita online here from Lump Inc. If you have any questions, she's available. Does anybody have any questions for Kyle or Danita? No? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the request with the conditions outlined by Kyle.
I'll second.
We have a second by Ryan. Is there any further discussion or questions? I think this will look great. It will be a great improvement for the property. So I seeing none. All in favor say aye.
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 And anybody opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Danita, for popping on. All right, we will go on to item number 4. It's Plan 21-1082. David Reynolds representing Charter Communications. Request for a site plan review to construct an accessory building at 2140 A Street South, parcel ID 3412138. Kyle?
As noted in the staff report, this item is for a accessory structure on the rear of the lot for their former charter building. They still own and operate the facility. And again, as an accessory building for this use, Plan Commission must make a recommendation from a site plan standpoint and architecture standpoint. And upon review, there are a few concerns with regards to the fencing, which is more of a separate item that I brought to the owner's attention regarding just the location of the fencing, the barbed wire that's proposed. That is prohibited technically, and so they'll have to make adjustments to the site plan to conform specifically to the fencing, but all other standards, including the setbacks, the architectural standards, are met, and so we would recommend approval with the conditions outlined in the staff report. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or questions for Kyle? Go ahead, Susan.
My question would have to do with the safety concerns, because it appears that there's going to be a fair amount of electrical equipment in that building.
Kyle, could you hear the question?
Yeah, it was in regards to electrical.
Correct, a fair amount of electrical in the going into the building.
Yep, so the applicant, after site plan approval, will obviously have to come in and get a building permit and an electrical permit for the installation of those. I think they're also relocating a generator. So all those will have to meet the commercial electrical code in terms of, all of the requirements, spacing, everything with regards to commercial electrical will need to be met and shown on a set of electrical plans as part of the project. This, again, being the first step in the project, we have not specifically received the electrical plans at this point, but it would be a requirement of the approval for the building permit.
Answer your question?
Okay, well, I guess it addresses the electrical part of it, but with regard to the safety concerns, is that will be reviewed under the electrical permitting then?
Could-
I guess I'm a little unclear on specifically what type of safety, just the amount of power or the type of equipment that they're placing within the facility.
Well, I guess the question has to do with that the amount of power that they're placing in the facility must require some extension of safety standards around the perimeter of the building or the accessibility for potential harm. But I guess my question is, when the electrical permit is issued, are those considerations addressed at that time?
Yeah, typically all applicable code requirements from an electrical standpoint need to be shown on the plans. With regards to, safety, I think that's part of the reason why they are requiring a fence. Unfortunately, they just can't have a barbed wire fence They may have to adjust it a little bit so it's not in the vision triangle, and they'll have to set it back 2 feet off the property line. But, if they meet the fence requirements, I think the fence ultimately is keeping any members of the public out, out of that area, next to the generator and their existing equipment on site. So I think from a public safety standpoint, I think they feel as though it's met from a security standpoint, but ultimately, the specific code requirements for electrical, I'm not familiar with it. I'm not an electrical inspector. I don't hold my commercial credential for electrical. But obviously, when we receive building plans, they have to show, and we have a commercial electrical inspector, they have to show that all the applicable requirements are being met.
Thank you, Kyle.
Is
Thank
that
you.
area back there fenced in currently? It's kind of hard to tell. Is that a building or just a fenced in area in the southwest corner right now?
There is a small area that's currently fenced, but this would involve expanding that fenced area.
And then, does that fenced in area now meet requirements, or with now changing that have to change that fencing too?
I'm not sure. I'd have to pull the old electrical permit and fence permit that was issued originally for that project. I would assume that with the new
Here's
fence,
barbed wire.
that they're meeting that same standard with the new fence that would have been required previously with any infrastructure installation.
I think that fence has barbed wire on it.
Yeah, I can't remember offhand.
Yeah.
And then maybe Kyle, unless there's nothing else on the fence, the landscaping, I know sometimes it triggers having to have so many points of landscape, and then in here it said that this doesn't. Maybe just for my information, what classifies something that has to have so many points of landscape when it's redone or updated?
Sure. So this is classified as an accessory structure. Typically, an accessory structure, unless it's increasing impervious area, doesn't have to meet the same landscaping standards. And in this case, the majority of the lot is already landscaped, and this building is going on existing landscaped area, so they're not increasing the impervious surface ratio. So from a landscaping standard, they don't necessarily need to add any additional landscaping.
Okay, so as long as the surface area of paved is not increased, then it doesn't really trigger that?
Right.
Okay.
I believe there's also a section in our ordinance that identifies accessory structures not having to meet building foundation landscaping requirements. So it would not have to meet building foundation landscaping requirements nor parking lot landscaping requirements because the impervious surface currently exists.
Thank you.
Ben or Ryan, do you have any questions?
You're welcome.
I don't have any questions. Very well explained and good questions to ask Kyle. I definitely learning through his dictation here.
Oh, just looking at the drawings, I'm pretty familiar with mechanical outbuildings and whatnot. I've done some of them in my career. Everything looks pretty standard from what I'm seeing with a precast roof and poured concrete walls and foundations. So it looks like it's going to be able to hold any type of electrical blast that may potentially occur within that outbuilding.
Thank you, Ryan. Any other questions, comments? And what are your wishes?
I'll make a motion to approve Plan 21-1082 with the staff recommendations as listed.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve with the staff recommendations. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
And anybody opposed? That motion carries, and we're on to item number 5, which is adjournment. I can make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
And we have a second by Davin. All in favor, say aye.
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 I
And nobody opposes, so we're adjourned. Thank you for participating this evening and also online, Ryan and Ben.